We don't get caught up into them arguments. Our goal is to have people realize black supremacy. But something happens when you realize what black supremacy is. Right action comes from right thought. When you have right thought, then you will have right action. A slew of right actions. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you take on the right mind, the right actions will follow the right mind. So we ain't got to get too caught up with actions. Especially when we got the wrong mind. Did y'all hear what I'm saying? When you got the wrong mind, what you think is wrong has been given to you by your slave master. So when you get the right mind, through a meditation on black supremacy and black divinity, then you will be moved to what the right actions are. But you got to get the clarity of mind. Your mind has to be transformed based on black supremacy. That's a reality. So we cannot judge and condemn the actions of people that are acting outside of their right mind. Especially when we are not in our right mind, in our black supreme mind. So the focus of everyone that comes into black supremacy is first to get the black supreme consciousness and the black supreme meditation and the realization of what black supremacy is. Because once they get that, their actions will be perfect and purified by their state of mind. This is automatic. Half of the deductive reasoning and the theological and ideological conclusions will be wrong if the mind is not right. And you cannot be woken up purely through ideological and intellectual means. Because your meditation is white. You feel me? So your intellect is a byproduct of that meditation. It's the byproduct of what is the predominant thought in your mind. The predominant thought in the minds of our people is white supremacy. So their intellect is white supremacy. Their reasoning is white supremacy. Their concepts are white supremacy. Their judgments and their condemnations are based on white supremacy. Because that's the predominant thought in their mind. In intellect, I'm going in here. Your intellect can only arrive at your predominant thought. Your intellect is just as good as what your predominant consciousness is. If we send a plumber into a house, we're not going to expect him to arrive at electrical problems. Right? Because his predominant thought is plumbing. So even how he begins to look at electricity is how he would look at the pipes and say, well, since the plumbing is here, then the electricity is probably there, right? Well, this is the same thing that happens with the mind that is on white supremacy, that has been inculcated with that. Its intellect is based upon a white supremacist framework and basis. And it arrives at conclusions by a rigged intellect on white supremacy. So the mind must then be purified so that its basis is black, so that its intellect could arrive at black supreme positions. Am I correct? So it's not purely through intellectual means that people can arrive to black supreme consciousness. But we can seduce them into black supreme realization through intellect. But then the intellect drops at some point and the Akashic memory awakens. And poof, they're there. The epiphanies and the light goes off. But we can't get them there by intellect. We can get them part the way. The cab will take you to the train, but the train takes you to another state. Intellect is the train. Is the cab. Self-realization is the train. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's the train of thought that you have to be on to arrive at the destination of black supremacy. Where am I going with this? How we see everything. I don't just want to say homosexuality. How we see relationships in all their forms are based on the predominant thought that has been in our mind for as long as we have occupied this planet and been bombarded with the popular thought streams that have been going on this planet, which have happened to be white supremacy. How we see relationships are the same. I want to go with that. We're speaking English. That's white supremacy. So, when we understand things to only exist in English. Watch. But nothing exists in English. It only exists in reality. We articulate it in English. Black supremacy wants to get you to the reality of things. Don't get lost in your articulations. Do you follow what I'm saying? Don't get lost in the expressions or the vernacular of things. So, our concepts are English. Our concepts are white supremacist concepts. It's white supremacists conceptualizing. Do you feel me? These are our thoughts. We're conceptualizing from a white supremacist paradigm. But the essence of who we are from a DNA level is black. The root, the source energy of the entities that we are moving around as is black. It's ancient. Instinctually, we are ancient entities, instinctually, by nature. The more we in tune with our nature, the more we get source information. And we develop higher concepts. And we develop an understanding of higher concepts greater than white supremacy. White supremacy is the ceiling of this society. Black supremacy is the infinity of who we are. Do y'all hear me? White supremacy is the ceiling, the thought ceiling of this society. Black supremacy is the infinite entity that each and one of us actually is. So, when I say, let's look at some of these concepts. Marriage. It's going to be a good one. You have a soulmate. You have a soulmate. When your Akashic records awaken, you realize who your soulmate is. Not wife, not husband, soulmate. Deeper context and content than a soulmate and a wife or a husband. Deeper. Wife, husband, Eurocentric. Soulmate, ancient twin flame. Do you follow what I'm saying? Ancient entity. Vibration reoccurring. Returning. Symbiotic. You know what I'm saying? Affinity towards. These words can replace what we have been calling marriage. You feel me? But this is a reality of things. There is a social, political, and economic structure called marriage where we can interface in corporate America. You follow? And within their paperwork, their jurisdiction. The reality, though, of our connection to other human beings is a soul experience. It's a soulful reality. It's a karmic reality. You follow what I'm saying? It's connected to the energy and the vibration that we have manifested ourselves at in this day and time. So we try to make that marriage. But to try to make that marriage is to act as though you can get to that without realizing who you are. Do you feel me? When you realize who you are, then you simultaneously realize who everyone else is. And who they are and what role they play in your life begins to occur to you automatically. It's not a, let's try to make this marriage work. It's, I know who you are. I know who I am. I know who we are. That's not marriage. Do y'all feel what I'm saying? Marriage is an attempt to create a lifelong bond or relationship with someone else. What we call affinity towards one another. You feel me? That has nothing to do with marriage. That's an awakening. That is a remembering. Becoming a member again. With yourself in feminine or masculine form. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Remembering the energy, the vibration, and the aura of relationships that you once interfaced with. You follow? The vibration that is comfortable to you. They say, you know, they used to say that's a line when you run into somebody and you say, well, dang, it's like I know you from somewhere. That ain't just a line. That's what you are supposed to be doing. When you interface with someone, you are supposed to be remembering. Each and every individual that we come in contact with is a gateway to reenact or reactivate our Akashic memory to who we are and why we are here. Do you follow? Every relationship that we get into, it's the light bulb is supposed to go off. Because who you are and who they are is one and the same destiny. So once destiny is clear, it's clear here and it is clear there. So it can become clear simultaneously. Do you follow what I'm saying? With the entities that come together. Now, to say that, to call that marriage, to throw a word like marriage on that, is a bastardization and a desecration of what actually should occur. You can't just throw marriage on that and say, I got it. No, you don't. So when you become a Black Supreme being and you have Black Supreme consciousness, you focus on that first. You focus on that first, because once that your consciousness is awakened, you're not trying or attempting to create anything with anyone. You are already aware of what can happen. You're crystal clear about reality. Am I right? You're looking at it from your Kundalini and your third eye is awakened. So you're looking at everything from an Akashic perspective. So you understand, and understand what can happen in this interface. You're not guessing, rolling the dice, trying to see if your astrologies align. You follow? You actually are in the enlightened awareness. It's like you born back on this planet and you remember where your old house was and what it looks like. You know where you're at. Just like a deja vu. These things that we call marriages should occur like deja vus. Not something that we trying to do that we didn't got from Dr. Phil and some shit we didn't hear Oprah talk about or something. You know, it should be like a deja vu. Not a struggle as a mortal entity, a mortal, feeble, materialistic entity. Because that's what these marriages have become. They have become struggles of egos. Not a waking entity, but two little egotistical accidents. You feel me? Struggling. It should be like a deja vu. You understand what I'm saying? We remember who we are. And it is stepping into our divine role. So it's effortless. To be who you really are, it's effortless. People talk about, I'm struggling with marriage. I can't believe this marriage. You don't know who you are. Forget marriage. Focus on remembering who you are and awakening your consciousness. Everything else will happen from that. Watch me if I talk about, okay, the black woman should revere the black man. If I start talking about that and I say, well, you ain't going to revere nobody you don't remember. Do you feel me? Why should you revere any man? That sounds stupid, right? Just revere any man. Bullshit. Go try to revere some of the men out there. See what happens to you. It can't be that simplified. You feel me? How these relationship people